Hello and happy Wednesday. It is Kat Krieger. My pronouns are she, her. And because it's the third Wednesday of the month, we're going to be doing some game design lab today. Welcome to the lab. We have been collaborating on a fantasy urban um, city. Um, it's kind of got magical 1920s vibes. It started off with an NPC that we created called Dahlia Stonefell, and she is a goblin artificer. Um, as we've sort of been developing this little collaborative setting, we've created um, the history and lore. A little bit of this city. It's called The Crossing. It was founded by healing cleric goblins, and it was originally called Healer's Crossing, and eventually became The Crossing over time. And we also have um, it's surrounded by mountains on one side, ocean on the other side, and Dahlia is this, yeah, she's this the goblin artificer. She's working for, I think it's Kieran Lovegood. Originally, we thought this artificer was the bad guy because he was dumping magical reagents into a cave in the woods, off the beaten track. However, the reagents created some monsters in that cave, and so we've got these created some cryptomancers, um, and they are sort of like uh, salamanders that can camouflage and do a bunch of other things based on um, having consumed magic mushrooms that grew out of the reagents, and then or the insects that were consuming the mushrooms, that sort of thing. It just trickles up down the um, environmental food chain. So originally we thought that this was the bad guy because Kieran was doing this, but it turns out he was doing it because he was trying to find a cure for a type of vampirism, because the actual big bad is um, Frederick Serpentine. And Frederick is he started off as a vampire, but we made him more of a um, Naga vampire. So there's a lot more snake type abilities, and um, he's also got like this snake charm band on his arm that can come to life momentarily. I think we made it a sentient item that has a spirit naga in it, and it's been passed along from vampire to vampire. He took it from his predecessor who had turned him, um, and I think he defeated her. Um, but that's part of the bigger overarching story of our world here at the crossing. Um, we've also developed a holiday um, based on the scientific method. Um, so it's a little bit quirkier and different, I think, than standard fantasy worlds. And I think we're in an ad break right now. But let's see. So we've got the mountains on one side and the ocean on the other. We haven't really developed too much of these other areas in the world. So I was thinking today we could maybe attempt to build out the neighboring cities, and see sort of how these cities sort of influence each other, and then based on that, we'll be able to build more and more, including the type of creatures that might live in these places. So we do have, we've named the two neighboring cities. One is in the ocean, and we called it Lunella's Confluence, and the other is in the mountains, and it's called the Halls of Merc. Um, and I think we decided Merc was like a double entendre because Merc could be viewed as somebody's name, but it's also darkness. Um, and so I'm not quite sure which one I want to do. I think I might go with the ocean one. It's just very different. Um, I like the idea of making an otter folk type creature. Okay, so I think today we're gonna focus on Lunella's Confluence, which is the ocean neighbor. Um, so I'm gonna transition my screen here so you can see what I'm working on. All right, so these are my notes from our last game design lab, which I'm only doing on the third Wednesday of the month now because life has been really busy and it's been challenging to, I guess, have the spell slots to be creative every Wednesday. So I'm going to just paste in here. Okay. So we've got Lunella's Confluence. They trade in seashells, seaweed, sea glass. They have a deep understanding of the effects of the moon on tides, and some worship whoever Lunella is. We haven't really determined who that is. Um, probably some sort of, um, probably a deity of, the moon. Um, but I think maybe what we might start with is um, who lives here. How were they found? How was this whole community founded? Okay, add a page. Who lives here? Um, how was the community founded? What else? Who is Lunella? And originally we were talking about there being like merfolk and otterfolk living here. I always wonder like how these animal creatures come into being. And I don't know if they're like more like, you know, anthropomorphic otters or if they're more like humanoid otters. 'Cause they're There's sort of a distinction, isn't there? Um, I will put merfolk. Come up with like a name for the otter, otter folk. So I'll look up some information about otters. It's just my excuse to look at cute otter pictures. All right, so they're carnivorous, semi-aquatic. That's, I mean, that's very helpful because they can more easily go from land to ocean, and maybe they they generally do the trade in town. Let's see. Scientifically speaking, it's Lutrinae is what is that what they're called? Subfamily. Let's see. So we could play off of that name, like Lutrine. It sounds too much like latrine. What else do we know? Groups of otters can be referred to as a bevy, family, lodge, romp, or raft in the water. I always love that image of them in the water holding hands in a raft. Let's see. The word otter stems from Old English, and then before that, Proto-Indo-European woder, which means water. Maybe woder folk, woderkin. Let's see. Woder. Otter folk. I wonder if we need to have some other types of creatures in here too. I feel like any kind of fish creature might not, I don't know. If woder eat fish, I don't know, it seems a little bit odd to maybe have fish there, but maybe there's something else like, well, there's like treants and stuff in the forest, so maybe we can come up with something like living kelp or something. living seaweed. Let's see. Oh, I also like the idea of having maybe some, well, the seahorses could actually be like mounts, sea dragons too. Let's see. Just looking for another word for that we can use for like living seaweed. Oh, there's eelgrass. I like that. Maybe we'll have eelgrass. Oops. And I'm just going to write a note here like seaweed. Nutrients. We have sea horses and sea dragons that are considered beasts. Now, how was the community founded? I feel like it's probably got to have something to do with Lunella. Maybe gosh, I have to figure out who this Lunella entity is. So I'm going to move this to the next page. Move this down a little bit. Lunella. Well, let's take a look at. Oh, hey, Jane. Hello and happy Wednesday. I know you weren't able to make it to the birthday stream, but it's still available as a video on demand, and I'm going to move it over to YouTube as well. But it was really fun. It was really nice to be able to play that Alice in Wonderland sort of inspired adventure, and we were able to raise. I had my charity goal at 100, and we raised over $300, so that was really nice. There was so many shenanigans. I think you'll appreciate it. So right now we are building out. I decided that we would go and do build out one of the neighboring communities for the crossing. So we're in Lunella's Confluence right now in the ocean. Yes, my birthday was really nice. In particular, it was just nice to have I don't know, just like a kind of a relaxing weekend. Played D&D on Sunday morning, and then Sunday afternoon I spent time with my partner and our kid, and got some really cool presents, including the D&D. I got D&D high top sneakers, which are amazing. I haven't worn them out yet, but probably will this afternoon when kiddo gets home early from school. Um, yeah, and I've just got cheesecake to eat for the rest of the week. um, anyway, we're working on Lunella's Confluence. I copied over some notes from the last time. This is the ocean neighboring town or city. They're the ones who trade in seashells, seaweed, sea glass. Um, maybe not seaweed, though. I am going to cross that out now because we now have sentient seaweed here. They have a deep understanding of the effects of the moon on tides, and some worship Lunella. So we're trying to. Um, I will send pics on Discord. um, let's see. We've got who lives here? We've got merfolk. I've named the otterfolk Woder because the original word for otter came from a word that sounded like water, Woder. We've got, I was thinking because in forests you've got tree ants, in the ocean we could have, uh, I'm making eelgrass. Um, so there's sort of like seaweed, tree ant type creatures. And then as sort of the beasts of burden, I guess, are the seahorses, and we might have some sea dragons. But sea dragons are, they're pretty small, um, really beautiful. So I'm not really sure what to do there, but I figured that would be a nice little stat block to come up with. Still have no idea how the community was founded or who Lunella actually is. And I think maybe one of the things we can talk about now is like who actually is this Lunella entity? Is she just maybe a merfolk or woder or other thing? Maybe it's like living coral, or is it a moon deity of some sort? Because so far we don't have a lot of religion in this world, um, because the crossing is very scientific minded. Um, but they do, I think we did determine that they do believe in, um, what is it? A living force that causes a rush of endorphins that often results in creative energy, and they call it the muse. But even that is like it's very science based. Oh, I need to close out my journal for a second because something is going on with the writing here. This occasionally happens. There we go. Moon deity. All right, let's go moon deity. All right, and so I'm gonna just take a look at, some moon gods around current mythologies, previous mythologies, world mythologies. Moon, moon deities. List of lunar deities. Here we go. And it does look like there's quite a lot of them. Africa, America, Asia, Europe. Of course, I have hunting associated with the moon in some, I think what's more known in Western ones. Um, let's see. there's one that's related to water that we could take inspiration from. Um, tides and, let's see, Alagnak. Let's see who this is. Oops. North America. Is it Innu? Just gonna look just to see. Oh, there's nothing in here. This entry. South America, there's a goddess of rain and frogs. Amenasi. Well, I like the idea that it could be a mischievous entity. Those are always fun. Oh no, it's not too difficult at all. It's just, I guess part of the process is sort of like coming up is like my process is like looking for inspiration in what already exists, um, and then seeing if there's anything that sparks an idea. And I do like the idea of having maybe something mischievous, a mischievous entity. It kind of goes with otters also, I think. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, Loki is very fun. So draw from that a little bit. Any tricksters are they add a bit of amusement, and because the setting is sort of light in a lot of ways, I want to kind of go with that mischievous entity. Um, she rules night and tides. Let's see what kind of form takes the form of, or can take the form of. Let's see. I think I want to like walking constellation or seafoam figure. I feel like because she's a trickster, there has. I feel like in order for this to be so integral to the Lunella's Confluence, I feel like the lore of this settlement has something to do with a trick that she played. Um, so it would have been a trick that she was playing on both the merfolk and the Woder. Um, and I think for the next design lab next month, we'll probably create a stat block for the Woder. Um, or we could try squeezing it in now. Um, let's see. Legend of a trick by Lunella says, or has it that question marks? I feel like Lunella has some sort of magic item too. Um, maybe like a moon orb of some sort. Controls the flow of water. Cause magical darkness or light. Not daylight. And I'm going to add here water stats. I can at least start talking about what a Woder otter folk would have. Let's see. So when I was looking in the at an otter entry, we know that they what's it? What's the word I'm looking for? Semi-aquatic. Um, not yeah. Semi-aquatic. So they need a swim speed. What else do they need? We'll write down the description here. Long, slim bodies, powerful webbed feet, dense fur. And they absolutely need to have a stone attack, I think, because they always keep a special stone, right? Special stone attack. I think I'm also going to add in here that they probably have a kick attack too. In Norse, Native American, and Asian folklore, they're sometimes believed to possess shape-shifting abilities. That's kind of cool. Also, need to put their short limbs. I'm just in an entry here filled with adorable pictures. +1 tail flick damage. I love it. So cute. All right, I'm just taking another look here. Um, I think they have to have pack tactics because it looks like whenever they do attack, they are usually doing it in a group. I'm gonna say they're also not sure if they should be size small or if they should be medium. I'm gonna look up on D&D. I think when I played a herringbone, I could choose my size. I could be tiny or small, but I'm gonna double check that. Maybe that's a Tasha's um, rule. Medium or small. Okay, I could pick if I was small. So yeah, tiny would be. Although I think maybe fairies might be tiny. They can be size medium or small. Anyone who is not familiar with Game Design Lab, usually a lot of what we design is just like generic. You can use it in any game, any system. But then when it comes to like actually designing mechanics, I usually go with D&D because that is um, what I'm the most familiar with and what I generally do in my freelance work. Giant otters. My goodness. All right, reading more about auditors, and I'm getting into the mythology now. And let's see. In popular Korean mythology, it's told that people who see an otter will attract rain clouds for the rest of their lives. There is a tale of a Buddhist tale of the otters and the wolf, where two otters agree to let a wolf settle their dispute in dividing their caught fish, but the wolf just takes off with their fish. I feel like maybe this is a way that Lunella could like maybe there was a dispute between the merfolk and the Woder, and um, Lunella did that um, and forced them to cooperate because they were out of food supply. I'm gonna sort of run with that. Can always change it, right? That merfolk and Woder um, hunted same grounds, same parts, and uh, during a time of, I guess, hardship, they disputed um, a catch. Lunella disguised herself, oops, as a, if there's a type of, what do you call it? Like a barracuda that's called a wolf, right? Is it a sea wolf? No, those are actual wolves that hunt. What is it called? Ocean animal with wolf in name. Wolffish. It's also known as a sea wolf. Okay. And offered to resolve the dispute, but stole the catch. It forced the two sides to come together. Oops. In cooperation. I like that. Okay, so now we have some lore and about how the community was founded. I also like how um, the name Lunella's Confluence kind of really goes with that backstory there. And she's a trickster, but she's a trickster who ultimately wants to benefit, you know, the creatures in the ocean here. So maybe I'll put good-hearted creature. Ultimately good-hearted. Because I feel like sometimes tricksters just are doing it for themselves or just for giggles. Okay. I think I misspelled voter in a couple places here. Yep, let me just fix that. So when I post these on Patreon, I'll have the correct spelling, voter. Also here. Okay. So we've got about 10 minutes and might be able to get something in here about maybe the eelgrass. Okay, so I'm gonna go into check out the treant entry here. Also want to just take a look at plants in general. All right. Don't know that there's actually a lot of underwater plants. I know that there's a stat block for a kelpie. Okay. One cool thing about tree ants is that they can animate other trees, so it would be cool if, oh yeah, because trees still exist outside of tree ants. So, I mean, I guess they could still trade in seaweed then. Just not eelgrass. Okay, so they are how big does seaweed grow when it's not, lost my seaweed entry. Let's see what the size is. Find size. can reach 60 meters in length. What? Wow. And grow as rapidly as 50 centimeters a day. I'm learning a lot of seaweed facts today. Does that make it huge? Does that make its size huge? Size huge? As tall as 60 meters. I'm not sure how many feet that is, but that seems huge. I think it needs to have like, it's definitely got the false appearance ability. Yeah, ability. I think it should be able to like entangle and animate seaweed. Oops, seaweed per day. What else? Probably has some sort of um, drowning type ability, but it has to be connected to entangle. Shocking grasp ability. Oh my gosh. Like an electric eel. We could. How does electricity? Oh, I guess it does work in water anyway, because there are electric eels. Um, Maybe it's a spell casting. All right. I think we've accomplished quite a lot today in this one session. We've got Lunella's Confluence. We've got the creatures that live here are merfolk, woder, who are otter folk, eelgrass, which are like seaweed tree ants. We haven't really tackled the seahorses and sea dragons yet. Um, the community was founded, the legend has it, of a trick by Lunella, that merfolk and woder hunted the same parts, and during a time of hardship, they disputed a catch of fish. Lunella disguised herself as a sea wolf and offered to resolve the dispute, but stole the catch. It forced the two sides to come together in cooperation. Who is Lunella? Lunella is a moon deity. She's a mischievous entity who rules the night and tides. She can take the form of a walking constellation or sea foam figure. She has a magic item that is a moon orb that controls the flow of water, and also has can cast magical darkness or light, but not daylight. Ultimately, she is good-hearted. Then for the Woder stats, we've got they're semi-aquatic. They have a swim speed, long, slim bodies with short limbs. They've also got powerful webbed feet, so they might have a kick attack. Dense fur probably gives them some sort of like um, some sort of cold hardiness feature. Um, Special stone attack, pack tactics, and their size can be medium or small. I'm just going to add a note here about helps with called? And for the eelgrass, which is like a awakened tree ant, or it's like tree ants. I think they're going to be a size huge thing because they can grow as tall as 60 meters. They've definitely got false appearance, some kind of entangle attack that I've got can lead to a drown attack after they're they've entangled something. They can animate other seaweed once per day, and they also have a shocking grasp spell casting, probably innate spell casting. So these are things that we can, actually, um, now that we've got the ideas for them, we can work on the actual stat blocks for both of these, and then look at the sea dragon and seahorses. Not sure how much we can squeeze in the next session, but again, it'll be every third Wednesday. I'll be doing Game Design Lab. Other Wednesdays, I'm just going to be doing whimsy Wednesdays. So it'll just be whatever whatever tickles my fancy. So last time it was that Tamagotchi Adventure Kingdom game. Maybe I might pick up Lost and Play again or some other game. Generally, it's probably going to be a cozy game. Um, so we'll see. Um, but thank you so much for joining and for the ideas, as always. I will be back on Friday with Crafternoon, and I don't think there's something going on with my automated messages right now or commands. They're just not working. So I will put that in here in chat for anyone who wants to join on Friday. Yeah, it'll be 2 to 3 Pacific, and I think I'm going to be working on my dinosaur pattern again. I'm getting pretty good work done here. It's kind of, you might not be able to see. Let's just change my camera here. My dino is a little cut off here, but because I'm working on this section here, and I didn't have room, so anyway. Thanks again for joining, and I hope you have a good week. I'll see you online in Discord, and maybe on Friday. All right, have a good rest of your week.